Hello, beautiful butterflies in transformation. Just like me, you are with Tanisha Ali. I am here to get you clear, to up-level your mindset, to help you heal and clear energetic blockages so that you can manifest the glory of God within you. I don't know what's going on with the light, y'all, but I am in quarantine. I forget what day this is. And I am enjoying it. It is not easy. It has been challenging. Today is a better day physically. I'm stronger today than I was yesterday. I've tested negative on 3 tests. Whatever it is that's got me up in this room, it's God, and it is definitely ordained for me at this time. So I'm trying to get in the work for my channel so I can get ahead so that when I get back out there on that other timeline where I'm going for those coins and serving my actual clients, then I can still have content for you. So I'm so happy to be here, and I love y'all. Today we're talking about relationship models. We're going to talk a lot about that on this channel because it's a spiritual topic. We tend to think that spirituality is religion. We tend to think that spirituality is related to meditation. Spirituality is everything you do. It's the way you think. It's the way you live. It's how you feel. It's how you process your life. It's the way you see life, the filter and the lenses through which you address your humanity while stuck in this body. So everything is spiritual, hot damn it. So let's get into it. We're talking today about relationship models. And by the way, if you have not purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, please make sure you do so. You do it to support my work, but you also support yourself in your own journey. It's an excellent book. It is not a chapter book. It's a book of daily quotes that help you move through your life and become more self-aware, which means you live a more fulfilling life. So we're talking about relationships. Why? Because relationship paradigms are changing. Relationships are in need of tweaking. The way that we view them, what we expect to get out of them, whether or not we can survive them, whether or not we feel like relationships should feel like surviving something, all of it. It's time to put all of that under review. We're living in times today where everything needs to be under review, which means nobody should be walking blindly off into the sunset. You should be creating your own sunset. You should be looking at your own life and determining, is this the life I want to live? Is this the life God put me here to live? Is this the life I'm living? Do I like it? Do I want to run away from it? How am I living? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. So as we dialogue about these things, I talk about the things that I have learned in my journey, and I'm willing to be very frank with you. And I also talk to you about the experiences that I have in working with my clients, whether I'm doing tarot and oracle, self-awareness, and life purpose readings, whether I'm helping someone with career, or whether I'm doing love readings, relationship readings. It's time to take things to a higher level. And these are some of the issues that I'm coming across that I feel we need to talk about. And that is the relationship model for you today based on the times that we're living in. We're coming into the age of Aquarius. People don't see that they are in any way affected by the planets. Trust me, you are. The age of Aquarius is about innovation. It's about independence. It's about humanitarianism, so we care more for the people around us and what's happening. It's about opening up the heart chakra, healing the heart chakra. It's about individuation as well, as in you defining your own reality and determining what works for you. And it's about revolution, upheaval, fighting the systems that have held you into place, fighting the beliefs that have caused you to lose track of who you are. That's what this time that we are living in is about. And we're going to be in this space roughly for the next, yes, baby, that's my daughter. I love to be served. They're serving me. Well, she says I have to get it before the dog gets it. So hold on. Just keep your ears open. I'm still going to talk, but I don't want to have to edit this video. So thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I missed the cable and the light fell, but I'm good. I'm good. Thank you, honey. Let me get it. I tripped over the cable. Oh, I got hot chocolate too. Thank you, baby. This is perfect. Clumsiness, okay. A bona fide ascension symptom. clumsiness. So yeah, so it's about getting out of the box and redefining what works for you in your life. And these things are coming up for review. And we're going to be in this space more than likely for the next few hundred years. So for your foreseeable future on this planet, this is the space we're going to be in, because this is what is being required for us to evolve and to live more God-conscious lives, which means we're less judgmental. We see the things in others that we need to work in and work on within ourselves. We become more accepting. We humble ourselves through being able to be mirrors for other people's pain and dysfunction. We take the shame paradigm and we put it out into the open so other people can see, so that other people can learn. And most importantly, we become creators in our own lives, which means that we no longer look for someone to come and save us. Uncle Sam is not going to save you. Mr. Charlie on the job is not going to save you. Your father's not going to save you. Your husband is not going to save you. Your children are not going to save you either. It is your job to be the change agent in your life, which means that you, rather than looking for a hero to come in with a cape and pull you up out of your nonsense, or Wonder Woman to take that thing off that she used to wear on her head and sling it somewhere to move an obstacle in your life, you yourself are going to have to do that, which means you're going to have to do the work. So it's time for you to pull out your sword, sharpen it, get your other tools, and get ready to go to work. Go to work on what? Go to work on yourself. Because everybody in your life, no matter who they are, even the person that you may reference as we talk about these relationships, is a mirror of you. They are in your experience, created by you to be a mirror of you. And until you recognize that, you can't humble yourself, you can't heal your shadows, you can't go deep within your subconscious mind, you can't properly interpret your reality, you will always blame other people, and you will have difficulty humbling yourself and recognizing that it is that other person that's showing you, and you will have difficulty recognizing that you're here to learn and not to point the finger at other people, criticize them, and think you know something. You will also come to know that you know absolutely nothing. Just like me, I know absolutely nothing. I know a little bit about a little something, and that's about it. I have so much more to learn, and so do you. So let's get into it. Relationship models. We have been in a paradigm where relationships have been defined as a relationship between a man and a woman. A relationship that was either sanctioned by society. If you married a certain way, maybe you had to marry in the church. Maybe if you're Muslim, you had to marry in the masjid. Maybe if you came from a certain culture, it had to be an arranged marriage. We could go on and on and on. Okay? If you didn't get married, you were considered a spinster. If you didn't get married, it wasn't about maybe you didn't want to get married. It was more about, why couldn't you get married? What can I say about you that's wrong with you? That's the reason why you can't get married or nobody wants you. Or maybe if you were divorced, you were considered untouchable. You couldn't be divorced at one particular point in time, because to say that you were divorced said that you were no longer a virgin. Okay, there's something in certain holy books that talk about 70,000 virgins in heaven, as if anyone who has been touched before is damaged goods. So all of these things people have been carrying on their shoulders, and you can switch genders. It's not a gender specific conversation. This is not just for women. This is for women and men. It's for people with masculine and feminine energy. It is for the human soul. Period. It is for the human soul. Maybe if you were divorced and you were divorced more than one time, you were considered poison. You were considered damaged. People looked at you, and rather than say, you know, he had a series of very bad women who took advantage of him and who lied and who he was too good a soul for this world, they looked at that person through the filter of their inadequacies, the person's inadequacies, and they said, you know, he can't keep a woman. There's something about what he's doing that I don't know what it is. Instead of looking at themselves and maybe saying, you know what, He's a person that has high aspirations and he refuses to settle, and until he finds the right person or the one that he can settle with, because the one is always the person that you're with. I've redefined that. The one is the person that you're supposed to be with at that time to get that lesson. That is why they're more than one. But they never said, he's waiting for to find the one that he can live with. That's a better match for him, and he's going to continue looking rather than settling. So we have all these things that we say about people. Sometimes we say for the people who really feel a sense of connectedness and need love in their life, they are always looking for a relationship. They need to deal with themselves. They need to go within. We say everything we want to justify what we believe. We may call the loner a social misfit and say they're a social misfit. We may look at the man or the woman that decides all they want to do is date and enjoy a variety of different relationships. They need to connect with multiple people. We might call them a whore or a pimp. We have a name, y'all, for everybody. And what I'm asking you is to call under the microscope and call into judgment your inner dialogue. What is it that you're saying in your life to judge other people? Because of your own inability to look at yourself and what your needs are and meet your own needs. Where is it that you're falling short? And you're looking at someone else and you're pointing the finger at them as if you have the solution and you don't even have the solution for your own life. And before I go on, I pulled a card before we started that I'm going to talk about. And that's going to be the linchpin or the launching pad for the rest of this discussion. It's the abundance card. And since we're talking about relationships, I'm going to relate it to that. By the way, if you are interested in spiritual mentoring or you want to get a reading, a self-awareness reading, a social consciousness reading, or the purpose reading, or relationship reading, you can get my information in the description. Contact me. My rates are having to go up due to supply and demand and just the time restraints. But if I can get you in on a limited basis, I'll be more than happy. If it's a hypnosis session that you need, if it's a distance Reiki session or a distance chakra balancing, all of my services are just as effective at a distance. So don't allow distance to be a barrier. But as we talk about abundance, there are billions and billions, over 5, 6, 7 billion fish in the sea. Okay? There is not just one person out there for you at any given time. I want you to reconnect with another way of looking at life. I want you to look at life as though there are millions and billions of people out there at any given time, and at a specific time in your vibratory frequency, you may attract one of those people into your life who is there at the right time and who is the perfect one for whatever the lesson is you're supposed to learn. And if you don't get that lesson, you will attract another person into your life out of all of the multitude of people. When we attract something, in a way, it's like we're choosing it, because what's in us is mirroring the lesson that we need. So in a way, we are choosing that, although we may not be doing it consciously. We're doing things in our life that cause us to attract that. So the message with this is, don't limit your options. You can have anything you want to have. You can create any reality you want to create at any given time. You can do it with one person. You can do it with multiple people. You can share your love and share your space and your time and your mental energy, your emotional energy, your physical energy, your spiritual energy in any way you want. And to limit yourself because of some so-called prototype that society has placed on you is not fair to you. To limit yourself in ways that you have been told to limit yourself, maybe because of your gender even. Women were not given and have not taken and have not stood in their own power enough to redefine what type of relationship model works for them. We have often instead, and this is gender specific, coming out of the patriarchal paradigm, this is very gender specific. We have taken what society has given us and we molded ourselves to fit into it. And so we became crooked. And so what did I say before? If you crooked, how you see life is going to be crooked. How you live life is going to be crooked. But if you're straight, how you live life is going to be straight, and how you see life is going to be straight. Straight is a relative term, depending upon who you're talking to. Everything is relative and up for review today, depending upon who it is you're talking to. So ask yourself, who am I to judge Sally over there, who wants to raise her kids and be married and is willing to go on the cross to keep that marriage together? Who am I to judge her? If all hell is breaking loose in that house, she's a grown arse woman. She can decide what she's willing to put up with, right? Right? That's a balance too, because there are a lot of controversial views related to that. I'm not taking the worst case out of the box scenarios. I'm not taking people who are beating their mates within an inch of their life. I'm talking about the average. Okay, I'm not on the extremes. I'm talking about fairly normal people, and even that's becoming debatable today. With all the craziness we got going on, this is a thumbnail moment, so let me smile. Y'all know y'all don't like crazy thumbnails. Y'all won't click on them. It's not about the substance. It's about the edifice, so I got to do this. So anyway, lots of fish in the sea, lots of models for relationship. You pick the one that works for you. So let's get into it. Talking about some of the stuff I deal with my clients on a regular basis. If there are a lot of fish in the sea and we live in a world of abundance, then you should look at your relationships that way. You should form healthy attachments based on what works for you. And you should not stay in a relationship that's not working for you out of fear or out of some societal model that says my children are going to be better off if we stay together, or some other dysfunctional model that in reality may not really be working for anyone. You have to look at your individual circumstances. Okay, and everybody's individual circumstances change. There are some people who it's right and better and less selfish to keep a family together. There are other people who, while they're keeping the family together, they're realizing, or they're not realizing, I should say, that their children are being traumatized every day by them keeping the family together. That their children learn to suppress their emotions and see emotions as a negative thing, which will down the line cause them a lot of pain in their life, far worse than if they had to go see dad over here on Cypress Lane and go see mom on Bellhaven Highway. It doesn't matter. So what I'm saying is, it's up to you. That's a relationship model. A husband and wife, or a wife and a husband who stay together at the expense of all of their sanity, giving up their dreams and their passions with someone that they may no longer be compatible with because they were told that marriage is from the cradle to the grave, till death do us part. Remember, these things are ingrained in all areas of society. You keep hearing "till death do us part" on TV when you watch your favorite show. You keep hearing it at church or at the masjid or in the synagogue. You keep hearing it everywhere in your community, in the workplace. Every time you see a movie at the theater, you keep hearing "till death do us part," and eventually you're going to become "till death do us part," literally, because we become the things that we see every day. We become what we say. We speak these things over our lives, and they affect us in ways that we don't realize. We don't realize that we're casting a spell over our life each time we speak words. So "till death do you part," that's the first model, the "till death do you part" model. And there are lots of models, and these will be in one of my books at some point in the future. But another model is the model where there's a broken vow. We call that the broken vow model. And that's the model where the person leaves the marriage and they become a divorcee. Ooh, and they're shunned by society because they divorced. It didn't work out. God forbid she should leave him. God, heaven forbid, Father God, he should leave that woman because she was a mental case. Oh my goodness. No. He shouldn't leave her. If he's one religion, he should just go out and get another wife. If he's another religion, instead of leaving her, he should just cheat on her. And maybe he should traumatize another woman in the process. Whatever it is, he got to be in that box, and he wants to receive approval. So God forbid he become a divorcee, right? He's already a divorcee by the way he's living in the relationship. Might as well be one in life. So the third thing that we're talking about or another model. We're just throwing out models. Might be a model where not only is she a divorcee one time, but she's a divorcee multiple times, or he's had many wives and now he's damaged goods, or she's a washed up piece of meat because she decided that every relationship she was in wasn't the right one, or it had some non-negotiables, and she's decided to vote with her feet and walk. She was independent, or he was independent. He didn't need her money. She didn't need his money. She could make her own way. Why not go after what she thought was out there for her? Why not go after what he thought he deserved and find that person who was a better fit? Not to deny that any of those other previous relationships were the one, because here again, the one is a relative term, and it's under observation. It's up for review, right? So let's say this person has had multiple marriages and they're shunned by society. But God forbid we should see that person in a better light than we see the person that we have sanctioned to go out and sleep around. Maybe while he's had 3 marriages, his next door neighbor, Lily, has slept with 15 men in the last 3 years. Nobody's saying anything about that though, right? So everything is relative. This is why you got to stay in your lane. This is why you have to decide how you want to live your life. And then you have to live with the consequences of the choices that you made. And that's the most important thing, that you can live with the consequences of the choices that you've made once you decide how you want to live. But you get to decide how you want to live. And then we have the new model for a woman who wants her freedom. We have the freedom model. Okay, the freedom model is possibly for that creative soul who loves to work and defines their life through their work and feels ashamed of it because we grow up in a life, in a world, in a paradigm being told that you should not be defined by your work. Says who? If my work is helping people, why should not my lifetime be turned over to helping people? Why am I ostracized, ridiculed, castigated because I do define my life by my work? Someone like that, creatives, people like Michael Jackson, people like Albert Einstein, people like many of these other people that have come through life, not like they broke the mold. They led us in a word fashion upwards to our highest possibilities during any particular lifetime because they defied what society wanted them to do. These same people might have been told by their classroom teachers that they had a low IQ, or that they were not college material, or that something was wrong with them. Maybe they had trouble fitting into societal molds. I heard Einstein was classified possibly as being schizophrenic. He had multiple affairs and relationships. And look at what he left the world. When he left us E=mc², he was being ostracized by the scientific community and castigated. Okay? In a metaphorical way, he was being sodomized by not only the scientific community, but the wider community. Look at him now. Who can say anything now about the truth of his work and the value that we get from quantum physics? How crazy could he have been to have come up with that and left us with this in the world? So it behooves you to be a nonconformist. All of us should strive to be nonconformists. Don't allow anybody to bleed you dry of your individuality. That, in my estimation, is in fact a crime. It is a crime. It is a crime. It is a high crime. If there's one above a felony, that's going to be the one. So here's a creative type. They're very intense. They have these periods of highs when they need to only be able to focus on whatever it is they're creating, where their ideas run and the mind is too big and the thinking too creative and complex to be contained within their head. And they need time to just do that thing. They need time to birth that book or birth that baby or do whatever it is that they need to do in order to bring life not only to the people who share in that by reading it or experiencing it or listening to that song on the radio or looking at that portrait that person may come up with. They need the freedom and the independence to be able to do that because that is a part of their mission. But someone told them that they needed to get married and that they needed to have children. And they adopted that. they've been doing everything else everybody wanted them to do their whole life. Why not just believe that that was something that they needed to do? And if they didn't quite want to do it, they did it anyway because they were told it was the right thing to do. And then those relationships don't work out for them. Maybe they have multiple divorces because they cannot be in an environment that requires so much of them. They need to be able to streamline their schedule. They need to be able to go to what other people would consider the fringes or the excess in order to be able to develop something. So a person like that needs a different kind of arrangement. Maybe a man like that or a woman like that, maybe they want to get married and commit to one person, but maybe they can't live with that person. Maybe the person that they choose needs to be of a mindset that understands that we can be together and we can share targeted time. Maybe it's a day a week, maybe it's 2 days a week, but we can't be together every day all the time because I need something else in my life. That person reserves the right to make that determination. And then let's go for another model. How many have we named? I got to write these down. 5. Let's talk about 5. The 5th model may be someone who is, let's call them the anomaly. Now let's call them the anomaly model. Okay, so we have the anomaly model. We have the freedom model. We have the broken vow model. We have the till death do us part model. And we also have the, I forget what the other one was. Text it in the comment if you remember, because I'm going to need to write these up. We do have people who take ideas today. But just jokes, but it's true. But nothing is new. Nothing is ever new. Nothing that I'm saying is new. The way I may put it together in very plain terms so that you can understand it may be new, but nothing that I'm saying is really new. So then we have another model that some people today I think may refer to as polyamorous, or a model, and I don't know if that's the terminology, but it may be the model for the person who decides that they want to connect with multiple people at any given time, and they reserve the freedom to do that. For some of us, that may come under suspect. If you're a woman that comes up for review by a male-dominated society, a toxic masculine paradigm, or a distorted masculine frame of reference, that comes up for review. And women have adopted that same toxic masculinity, which is why they are busy getting into self-destructive relationships and determining men who are macho and who may beat their asses as a good man, and not accepting or giving the time of day to the man who may wear glasses, take care of his family, and wear high waters. So everybody's jacked up in their mentality. Don't take a holier than thou attitude as you hear me talk about this. But you've got all kind of distorted ways that we look at things, and we misunderstand things, and we distort our reality, and we live in these boxes that we put ourselves in. And like I said, we point the finger. So maybe this person in this anomaly, somehow that word sounds strange, that model decides that they want to live freely. And they want to travel when they want to travel, and have companions the way they want to have companions. And they're not cut out to be in any type of committed relationship with anyone. They reserve the right to live the way that they want to live without being called a pimp or a whore. Okay, provided they do it in a way that is out in the open. See, what happens is when we don't live according to that first model, till death do us part, we feel dysfunctional. So we take our shame, we internalize it, we go and get in the closet with our skeletons, we keep our business behind closed doors. You know how you were told growing up, don't put our business out in the street. You internalize that too. That was a spell that you cast over your life, that you continue to cast over your life by shrinking into silence. So when you shrink into silence, you can't really be who you are. You operate 2 aspects of yourself, and you forget about the shadow. But it never goes away, because remember, we have to integrate the shadow with the light, because life is a series of paradoxes and polarities. So we have to integrate the shadow, and we have to make it a part of our life, which means we have to give it life, right? So instead of shrinking into the shadows and being an adulterer, which is what you are called when you have those needs, you come out into the open, If that's going to be the relationship model that you need, and you simply let people know that this is who you are and this is what you do, and then they get to decide if they want to sign up for it or not. And if they don't, how many fish are out there in that sea? Huh? How many? So the same is true with, let's give an example for each type, the creative. That person lets those suitors know, whether they're women or men, this is the kind of life I have. This is the kind of life that I need. I'm not looking for a full-time live-in wife. I'm looking for a wife who can appreciate a certain amount of independence and space, and I'm willing to, take care of her financially or not. That's a choice. These things have to be defined between those two people, and this is what I'm open to. You might find a most wonderful, perfect fit, beautiful woman that you wanted to be with for all your life, but she can't understand that model. And you know that that is a non-negotiable, because you know yourself enough to know what it is you need. So there's certain things you can give up on. I like a woman with locks, you might say. Well, she doesn't have locks. She's got long hair, or she has a wig. I can deal with that. But what I can't deal with is living with a woman every day. Or what I can't deal with is living with a man every day. I'm not interested in cooking every day. I'm not interested in changing diapers, if that's what I perceive that to feel like. Feeling pressured to do things for someone else's upkeep that they should be able to do for themselves. I wasn't born and created for that. My mission is far higher than that. And when I have to do that, I have to spread myself so thin that if I don't have a partner who is a helpmate, and I'm carrying him because I'm in a dysfunctional paradigm, then it drains me of my life force. So you have to decide what works for you. Maybe you're not into cleaning up every day. Maybe you want the till death do us part, but you know that in order to do the till death do us part, you're going to need a maid. And you're going to need someone to come into your home and prepare 3 meals a day. Why can't you ask for that? Don't you deserve that? If that one you're with won't do it, can you not find somebody who will be on the same page? Can you get ahead of all of this and make the decisions in the beginning of life before you commit? Can you define for yourself what you need, what you want, and what you can absolutely not live with? Can you determine what picking your poison means? Okay? Nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to give you everything you want, but what is the poison that you can live with? Can you clean up after somebody, but maybe your poison is someone who can't be honest? Maybe somebody else's poison is, I don't mind cooking for you 5 days a week as long as you make me feel appreciated. If you don't make me feel appreciated and take me out 2 nights a week, then I can't deal with you. Whatever it might be is irrelevant. The point is, you being the one in the driver's seat to determine what it is you need. Let's go to one of the other models. We had a model. What was model number 2? The divorce model, right? Giving yourself permission to leave a relationship if it's not working, and recognizing that a certain level of dysfunction that has reached its height is never going to turn around and be healthy for you. And that either you go on a martyr, homicide/suicide mission, or you acknowledge that this ain't working and I don't care what anybody else says, I want out. So marrying for life or till death do us part is not a part of your vow from the beginning. So you don't allow your imam or your what other parishioner, deacon, the whatever we call these people who marry people, the official, we don't allow them to say till death do us part, because for you, you don't believe in till death do us part. You believe in until we can no longer be spiritual, have a spiritual partnership, meaning that the relationship is not serving me and it's not serving you. We have another model I like to call a spiritual partnership. People define this differently, but a spiritual partnership to me is understanding that the one is who you're with, and that you may have multiple ones, and when you cease to grow, then it's time to move on to a new experience. That you come on this planet to have many relationships. That to me is an evolved way of looking at life, as long as you're growing and you're becoming a better person. Now, I'm not talking about escaping from commitment. I'm not talking about when somebody doesn't want to do what you want them to do, and you may be wrong at that particular time, whatever wrong means, that you get to bail. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about personal responsibility and accountability. I'm talking about being honest. I'm talking about living in the light and not having to sneak around and do the things that you should be able to do in the light, provided you are not selling yourself out or being a prostitute. And when I say being a prostitute, I'm talking about the archetype of being a prostitute. A prostitute is someone that sells themselves for something else. All of us are prostitutes in our lives in some way. We sell ourselves out for something else. Okay? We do something we don't really want to do that is against our moral fiber or our genetic makeup or our sense of purpose and self, just to appease somebody else. So we sell ourselves all the time. All of us are for sale on some level. It's one of the shadow aspects that we need to address. So hopefully there'll be more videos on this. The video's getting kind of long, so I'm going to go ahead and go. Leave me some comments. I want to know what you think. What is your relationship type? What kind of relationship do you need at this particular time in your life? What is going to serve you? Who is it that you need to talk to get what it is you need to get? Where is your abundance? Have a beautiful day.